NBA trade deadline coming soon in like 3 weeks. I'm making a list of 10 key players, including some stars that might be traded soon and will be probably traded before the trade deadline. So, first, let's talk about Jimmy Butler. Now, there's just a report that came out recently that said how Jimmy Butler still reiterates that he wants to get traded from the Miami Heat to Pat Riley in his face. Jimmy might not get traded before his suspension because Pat Riley and them don't like the trade offers that they're getting from Jimmy. But I believe still that Jimmy will probably get traded soon. Because, I mean, if he doesn't get traded now, he's still going to get traded sometime before next season starts. Or even if he does not get traded by next season, he will still like do something and force a trade and all that stuff. But Jimmy right now is still playing all right. I mean, he wasn't playing that good once he came back from his injury, only like scoring 9 points, but he's still a great player to have. Of course, playoff Jimmy is one of the best in the league, and Jimmy Butler is still a great player now. The only team I really think will trade for Jimmy is the Phoenix Suns and give him the extension he wants. One of the major reasons that Jimmy wants to leave Miami is because they don't give him an extension and they also don't get some players to surround him with. So that is some of the reasons. But Jimmy Butler to the Suns might actually happen soon because Butler is close to getting traded. He's definitely gonna like be on a different team really soon. But yeah, let's go on to the next player who is Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic is having a great season this year, averaging like 20 on great shooting from the three. He's revitalized his career after last season shooting horribly from three and not being a great center. He's a great offensive center and he'll be a great addition for some players. I mean, some teams. Like, I believe the Warriors, he would be a great addition because finally Steph can get a stretch five, which he has never played with like a stretch five. And also, you know, the Lakers also might be interested in him because they have a pretty big need of at least like a center besides Anthony Davis. So Voos will help him a lot. He's not making a lot of money as well. Only around 20 million, which is pretty solid for what he's doing right now. So I believe he will probably get traded soon. I don't know what team, but the Warriors look like they might actually do it because they don't really want to trade too much. So Vucevic is a great target for them. They don't need to trade that much at all. Then we have his teammate Zach LaVine. LaVine is also playing really well this season, especially recently. He's been scoring 30 plus so many times in the New Year's. He's been really good, and teams have not been trading for him because of him having a big contract. But I feel like teams should still trade for him now. There's not much of teams that are interested in him because of his contract, but I feel like the Bulls like they could get some alright value for LaVine because he has definitely rebuilt his trade value. So right now, I believe he will get traded either this deadline or after because he doesn't have many years on his contract left, I believe. So Lakers and the Nuggets are teams that had interest in him. The Nuggets especially do because they are looking decent, but Jamal Murray hasn't been looking like himself. So adding another offensive player would be great for them. And then the Lakers, they need another star, but I don't think that's as realistic because the Bulls will want a lot more. But for the Nuggets, it's a little bit more realistic. I believe they almost did it, but the Bulls just did not want to have a player like Zeke Naji, who is making a ton of money. So yeah, let's go on to our next player, Brandon Ingram. Ingram is still injured, but he has been pretty solid and is still a really great get for teams that need a star or someone like that. And a team that I would think has a pretty decent chance of getting Ingram is the Pistons. They have had some interest in him, and I believe it's a great fit. Pistons have been really good recently. They have like 10 wins, I believe, out of their last 12. And New Year's, Cade has been insane. This team has been really fun to watch. So I believe this is going to be a great opportunity for Ingram to show that he's still a great player and also like help a team that is probably making the play in at least, maybe even the playoffs. So this is gonna be a great team that Ingram will go to. Other teams like don't really want him because he is still have a decent sized contract and he's about to be a free agent. So it's kind of risky getting him because you don't know if he is going to re-sign. But Ingram is a solid player in the trade market. Another player possibly getting traded from the Pelicans also. No way, but like Zion Williamson, I don't know, like all of the stuff that's happening with him. Like he got suspended for being late. He was late to planes, so he has a slight chance to get maybe like a 1% chance to get traded, but I would not be super surprised if he does. Then we have Bradley Beal. He has been benched. Now he has actually been thriving off the bench role, and the Suns have been figuring out a little after benching Nurkic. Nurkic is definitely getting traded, and they might get someone like Nick Richards from the Hornets, who would be a really solid get. But Beal is looking less and less likely every day that he's getting traded because although the Suns want Jimmy Butler, Beal is not waiving his no trade clause to a random third team because the Heat don't want Beal. So it's tough, but he still might get traded because he might be a little fed up from having to play off the bench, which he has really never been, at least in a long time. So Beal might be a trade target, but his contract is crazy. Next, we have Cam Johnson and other players on the Nets, like maybe Nick Claxton might get traded, maybe Day'Ron Sharp, and a ton of other vets on the Nets. But Cam is their best trade. Now, they have already traded Dennis Schroeder and Dorian Finney-Smith, but Cam is their best trade player, and a ton of teams are interested in Cam, from like the Lakers, Warriors, to like the Grizzlies and the Thunder. I believe the Grizzlies might have a pretty big chance, or the Pacers. The Pacers have been pretty interested in him, and it would be pretty like good for the Pacers. They have starting to come and win many games. They even won the Cleveland Cavaliers recently, but it will be a great fit for them because they need a small forward right now. Nesmith has been injured, stuff like that. And also another team that might be interested is the Sacramento Kings. Just any team is interested in a player like Cam Johnson, who's a great shooter, solid defender, just all around great role player. Then we have the Blazers players like Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons, Rob Williams are all players that might get traded. Now, Rob Williams is one of the best trade targets on the center position, at least, because he has been pretty good with the Blazers, but the Blazers don't want to keep him really because they have Donovan Clingan for the future. Also, another player that might get traded is DeAndre Ayton, who has been solid, but sometimes he doesn't try as much. But Rob Williams is a great defender, almost won Defensive Player of the Year with the Celtics, and he looks like he's finally came back after all his injuries. And I believe the Lakers have a really big chance of getting him because the Lakers right now, they need a backup center. So this will be a great get. And also you can start with AD. Really good defender. Then there's the Wizards players, including Kyle Kuzma, Jonas Valanciunas, Malcolm Brogdon, some more players that might get traded. But Kuz is a solid trade target because Kuz is a pretty solid scorer. But, I mean, he has actually had a down year, but still could be a valuable piece to a team or whatever. And then also Valanciunas. Valanciunas is a decent center to have as like a backup or like maybe a starting center. And a ton of teams want Valanciunas. And let's go to the next player, John Collins, alongside his Jazz teammates Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton. All have been really good. Now, I don't know specific teams that are interested, but I know that a lot of teams will be interested in these three players because John Collins have revitalized his career. He has been really good this season, almost averaging like 18 points a game, I believe. And also, his shot is back, shooting great at 3-point range. Maybe even Laurie Marketing and Walker Kessler might get traded too. Then Colin Sexton, of course, he's been really good as well. And Jordan Clarkson, always a good boost off the bench or like starting for scoring. So these all are pretty good players to get. And finally, we have the Raptors players, and that's Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, maybe Jakob Poeltl, I mean, whatever other vets, Chris Boucher maybe, but Bruce Brown is their best. Bruce was a really, really valuable piece to their Nuggets 2023 championship. And also, he has been a really solid player for a while, especially with that Nuggets run. So he can get a pretty good boost up for a contending team who needs a good wing. But yeah, that's basically it for all of these players that might get traded. I'll definitely be making a video about who will actually traded once the trade deadline comes. Thank you guys for watching. We're out.